Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Time for another look at that series that I remember exists every few years. Athena! Athena, in case you don't remember, was more aptly described with its first issue as Athena's ass, because the creators apparently felt that it was more important to show off her naked butt than give us a story that made sense or was in any way something we'd want to read. The second issue, while hugely improving things by keeping their title character clothed, contained lots of questionable dialogue and kinda dumb plot points. Hell, even rewatching the review of issue 2 in preparation for this, I'm still not exactly sure what the hell is happening. What I do know is that the Greek goddess Athena has been reborn in modern times and has become a police officer, but whenever her life is threatened, Zeus sends an owl out to give her skimpy armoring to protect herself while she just stands around confused about what the hell is going on. We have no idea why Zeus is doing this, but for some reason the Apple of Discord myth, the one that led to the Trojan War, is being replayed in modern times because I guess the writer didn't feel like coming up with his own story, and this has somehow led to two rival criminal gangs surrounded by cops. And Ares now appearing somehow. So let's dig into Athena number 3 and see if we can actually get some answers to these questions that nobody really wanted to find the answers to.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a birdie hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazons and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
The cover is actually okay. It's Athena seemingly flying in front of a city silhouette with an owl superimposed over the sky. I mean, it's pretty generic as far as covers go and tells us nothing, but it's a perfectly fine pose and whatnot. There are some problems though. One, as mentioned last time, this outfit is never seen with Athena. It'd be a perfectly fine superhero outfit, despite the addition of dangly earrings. You'd think a goddess of combat and wisdom would know not to have those on in battle. But she never wears this style of outfit in the story. I even looked ahead to issue 4, and that's a nope. It's blatant false advertising by showing off something that is never in the book. Secondly, this is just one of 3 variant covers. One is more like what she actually wears, which somehow seems to have even less clothing than Wonder Woman's normal attire. And the other is a shot from behind featuring Athena's behind in a thong. Good job there, artist. Truly you've captured this comic in a single image. We open where we left off, Ares and Athena in the middle of the battle. What the hell? Don't just stand there! Shoot him! Something weird and unexplained! Kill it! By the by, when you lack a question mark at the end of what the hell, then it's used as more of a dismissive statement rather than an exclamation of confusion. So really, this guy sees 2 Greek gods appear out of nowhere and is just shrugging. Look, even Athena's cop buddy looks like he's facepalming. Although maybe that's because from his angle, he can only see Athena's ass and is like, oh god, are they really still doing this? Anyway, Ares is of course just confused, while the criminal, named Manny, has his men open fire. Athena blocks with her shield, which seems unnecessary. You'd think the magic force field granted to her would also be given to him. Or did the writer forget that she had that? Ares is not amused by this attack. They try to harm me? Me? And he leaps up and falls down right on a group of them, slicing some of their guns up with his huge axe. Ares, the god of war? Here, let's exchange insurance information! Athena knocks a guy down with the pole end of her spear, and I only know that it was behind her because of what she says on the next page. Otherwise, it looks like she just attacked somebody in front of her with an extendo spear. From behind? Is there no honor in this place? Yeah, and you're all about honor, goddess who transformed a rape victim into a monster. Hold! Who dares tell Athena to hold? You're not the boss of me. I'm letting go. And again with the lack of question mark there. I know, it's a very silly grammatical thing to keep harping on, but punctuation can alter the meaning of sentences, so it's weird that this has happened twice now. Some kind of explosion knocks them all back, revealing the god thing from Star Trek V, only now as a big dust cloud. Father Zeus! Ah, great, he's there to tell her that she can't attend the opening of Xanadu. Are we really sure this is actually Zeus? I mean, just saying, the guy apparently boned every female of any species, so it's entirely possible he might have had sex with a sandstorm and created another kid like that. The billowing dust storm blows back both the criminals and the cops, leaving only Athena and Ares to talk to him. Come to me, my children. The humans will see and know nothing of what happens here. So, no different from the rest of the comic so far. What sort of battle is this? And why are we here? You are here because I have commanded that you be here. He actually can't remember why. The part of him that knows that is busy clogging up a gun with sand. The two don't recall ever getting a command like that, so Zeus finally explains what the hell is going on. Our world, the world of the Olympians, is no more. Refunds will be offered to those who had outstanding tickets. The temples where mankind worshipped us are gone, reduced to rubble, their purpose long forgotten. Really? Because as far as I know, we're pretty sure about the purpose of the Parthenon of all things. Many of your brothers and sisters have retired into the sleep of ages, preparing for the end of times. Damn lazy kids refusing to wake up and help with the preparations! The end of times? The end of all things, when the power of the gods themselves are as nothing. Yeah, Ares, it's next Thursday. It's been on the calendar for like a month. As the end of times nears, it is foretold that one of my children will destroy me and take my place. Have to admit, it's kind of hard for me to write my will now because of that. Ares and Athena think that all of this, with them having human forms, is because he fears one of them will supplant him or fall into the sleep of ages as well, which just seems odd. What's the long game here? If it's foretold, he can't prevent it, not for lack of trying, of course, but what does making his kids human actually do for him? Especially if he's just gonna protect them anyway by restoring their memories like this all the damn time. How does this actually stop the end of times from coming? In any case, Zeus says that regardless, the ascent of one of them or them taking their nap, it will lead to darkness, but that this plan has its own dangers. Hence why Athena was given the armor. The work of Hephaestus. Too perfect! Yeah, it's so perfect in how it's basically just a torso-shaped piece of metal loosely tied to the front of her. It protects you from all harm, even my spell of forgetting. But I cannot leave you defenseless against these barbarians. And so you will keep the armor. But you will forget all of this. It protects you from forgetting. So anyway, it's time for you to forget all this. Somehow Zeus is able to manipulate time and set things back by, say, an hour or two. Athena and her cop partner are back in their car on their way to intercept the two gangs. However, even the cop recognizes that something about this is weird. But he doesn't say what is weird, nor do we have any idea why he would recognize something has happened. After all, shouldn't it be Athena's armor that protects her while he was breathing in a dust storm? As per the other two issues, we flash back to the beginning of the Trojan War. There's a lot to the Trojan War that doesn't get brought up because, well, it's a long epic. The war itself lasted 10 years, and even just getting started was a bit of an issue. Just for a quick primer in case you don't recall, a dude named Paris made a deal with the goddess Aphrodite to make the beautiful Helen his wife. After a love arrow from Eros, aka Cupid, made Helen fall in love with Paris, the two left for Troy, basically him having kidnapped her. His refusal to return her led to the war. The Greeks, anxious to sail in pursuit of Paris, found the winds guns against them. And this is what I mean about them not bringing up a lot of details. See, they were so anxious to sail in pursuit of them that this actually isn't their first try. The first attempt got them lost, creating a completely different conflict, and then scattered them again before this do-over. But yeah, since the goddess Artemis is pissed off, they have to sacrifice Iphigenia, the daughter of Agamemnon, to appease her. Hey, Zeus, have you stopped to consider that maybe people don't worship you anymore because you're all a bunch of assholes? Anyway, the Greeks arrived at Troy and began the attack. And to once again show us how modern events are supposed to be paralleling the tale. I mean, it's just exactly the same, what with how that was a war fought with an army of professional soldiers united by many factions and kingdoms, fighting with swords and shields to recover the wife of one ruler after a god had used supernatural means to make her fall in love with another guy. While the modern times is about a criminal and his gang united by criminal stuff to recover his girlfriend with guns, who, as far as we can tell, left voluntarily to be with him. Totally the same thing. That criminal, Manny, I say it again because it's not like he's in any way memorable, says they need more guns in on this, but the guy who was supposed to supply more isn't there. Call for some more men, and have them bring Belle. Damn, these guys have Tinkerbell on their side. How can the Greek gods hope to fight Disney? Manny decides to lay siege to the house, surrounding it and hoping to starve out their enemies for as long as it takes. This time around, Athena and her partner don't call in a SWAT team, figuring it'll be a bloodbath. Fair enough, but the alternative is openly allowing two groups of criminals to shoot each other. Just saying. However, Athena comes up with a new plan a few hours later. They will bring in a SWAT team, but instead of charging right in, they've got an extra-large flashbang ready to knock out all the criminals at once. Belle turns out to be some kind of armored RV. Oh, so that's what happened to the supercruiser after Chuck Norris Karate Commandos ended. Manny heads into Belle to pee, but he's met just outside by the human form of Ares, who I can't remember if he had another name, but I also don't care enough to check. He goes inside Belle first to check and see if anyone else got inspired by the Trojan War stuff, and we're using Belle as said horse. And it's here where we sort of reveal that Athena and her partner are inside of the thing. I'm not sure how the hell they got in, how they knew about this, or where they're even hiding inside of it, but whatever, it's a moot point anyway. Some of Paris's people, and yes, as a reminder, the other criminal is named Paris, knew about the approach of Belle and uses it as an opportunity to counterattack, trying to kill Manny while his guard is down. Ares shoves Belle's driver out so he can take the wheel and try to get a better exit out of the area, since just backing up would give them more of a chance for the attackers to shoot them. Instead, he drives around the house and heads for the back, but all the bumping and shaking makes Athena and partner guy drop their big grenade.
Ah, you fool!
And so our comic ends with Belle exploding from the flashbang. Good one, Zeus. You traded in one timeline where they actually had magical armor and mystic weapons and strength to protect themselves for one where they get killed by a grenade of their own making. Remind me again why it'd be bad if one of your kids took over? Anyway, this comic sucks. Like the second issue, it is still admittedly better than what has come before, but now we've just entered into a bit of tedium. I still don't care about any of these characters, and exposition is very light. I have to assume a few things just to try to make sense of the story because they can't be bothered to give any actual details. It actually took me a minute to realize Athena and her partner were inside of Belle, because otherwise it just looked like they were in shadows. We don't know why the end of times is coming, or why it's actually bad other than the gods having no powers. Putting Athena and Ares into human form is a head-scratching decision, and none of it is all that interesting. Not helped by reminding us in each issue that it's all just a straight-up copy of stuff that happened in the Trojan War. But while we got a partial explanation for Athena and Ares, we still don't know why the Trojan War stuff is being repeated, to the point where there is literally a guy named Paris involved in it. But hey, at least by now they're not just expecting Athena's butt to carry the story. Next time, in another Patreon-sponsored review, we head back to the New 52 for the first 3 issues of Batman: The Dark Knight. However, before we roll credits, it's time for viewers to pick what I'll be reviewing in 2 weeks. May is Event Comics Month, with the selections voted for by patrons a few months ago. If you missed that, now's your chance to try to give another vote a try. It's been a while since we had a PSA hell, and I've got quite a few of them that I've been sitting on for a while, so here's the deal. Head over to patreon.com/AT4W, become a patron at any amount, even just $1, and you'll be able to vote between 3 choices in the first Patreon Viewers' Choice Review. Your choices? First, The Amazing Spider-Man Adventures in Reading #1, a comic that I have about 50 copies of because people keep sending it and its follow-up issues to me, wherein Spider-Man and a group of kids fight a supervillain while traveling inside of books. Second, the new Teen Titans Anti-Drug Giveaway #2, which I reviewed the first issue of way back in 2012. This one has less testimonials based on real people and more straight-up melodrama about kids snorting cocaine off a bathroom floor. And finally, a Supergirl PSA about the importance of seatbelts, and how you can use alien technology to enter someone's mind to get them out of a coma because of the trauma of a car accident. Voting will run until April 24th, and at the end of the next episode, I'll announce the winner. We'll see if I decide to try to do more of these in the future, but that'll depend on how many of you decide to participate. Until then, see you next week with a craptacular Batman story.
Children, grandmas, everyone loves to watch Susie's Butt. It's the Susie's Butt Festival.